chat, y'all. So I have finished up work for the day, and I was just sitting here thinking about number one, like kind of just reflecting on starting a YouTube channel and how I've always wanted to do this for a really long time. I remember being probably in my 20s watching vlogs and just being really fascinated about people's day to day. I don't know why it's so interesting to me, but it has been for a while. And so I was just thinking about, having or finding courage, because I haven't always had courage to just kind of try and put myself out there and start the channel. And I'm very proud that I've done that. I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know if I'll get any subscribers. I don't know anything about the future, but I am very proud of myself for moving past my fear and just trying. And I often talk to my husband about, just life overall. And he teases me because I always say, oh, I wish I would have, or I should have done this, or I wonder if life would have been different if this happened. And I say that a lot. And part of the reason why I say that is because for so many years, I have let fear just paralyze me. And it made me be afraid to just try and to put effort into something, partially because what people may say or may think, or because I feel like I'm not good enough to do it, or what if I fail? All the reasons why a lot of people don't pursue things that are of interest to them because of fear. And so in thinking through that, when I initially graduated high school and started undergrad, my major was communication, and I wanted to get into broadcast journalism. I wanted to be a sports reporter. Specifically, I wanted to be a sideline reporter for football. And I think I convinced myself, which I do believe this is part of the reason, but I think I really convinced myself that I needed to change my major because I wanted to get married and I wanted to have kids. And I knew that if I started working I assumed that if I started working in broadcasting, I would have to start at in a smaller market. I would probably have to do, work some really weird hours. And if I got married and had kids, I wouldn't want to do that. And I don't want to be standing out in the weather, bad weather, the storm, trying to report, and just all these excuses in my head. So I ended up changing my major to English. And when I think about it, I do think that was part of the reason, but I also feel like the biggest reason was just because I was afraid that I wasn't good enough. When I first started undergrad, I think that was probably my first experience with depression. I don't know why. It was literally the switch from high school to college was difficult for me for some reason. And I was trying to push through, and I don't know, I just felt like I wouldn't make it in that market. And so I did the safer thing and changed my major to English. And so my bachelor's degree is in English. And I often wonder, what would have happened if I would have just tried, if I just would have kept going with what I said for a long time I wanted to do. I love football. I have engulfed myself in football for such a long time. I was a cheerleader in high school, and part of the reason why I wanted to cheer, I enjoyed cheerleading. I loved it. I was good at it. And part of the reason why I wanted to do it, though, was because I wanted to be able to make sure I was able to go to all of the away games. So best way to do that was to become a cheerleader. And so that was part of the reason. It's not the sole reason, but it is definitely part of the reason why I wanted to cheer, is because I wanted to make sure that I could attend the away football games. And um, so I said all that to say that fear has been such a big part of my life and has prevented me from doing things that are of interest and things that I wanted to explore, just for whatever reason. I don't know. And so the thought came about because I saw a picture of myself and I was like, man, I kind of look like a professor in this photo. And I have contemplated and kind of juggled with the idea of pursuing a PhD for some time. And I'm scared. I'm really afraid. Number one, because I'm older. Number two, because I'm not sure if it'll be beneficial to my career. Even if it's not, though, it is something that is of interest to me and it would be beneficial to me as a person. My career may or may not change now, and I do feel like it's important to weigh the pros and cons of things, right? So you don't want to spend a lot of money and then you end up in debt or whatever, and you can't afford to pay that debt off because your career is stagnant and you're not making more money. But and then there's also just the whole idea of imposter syndrome, like everybody's going to be smarter than me. And what if I can't come up with a good research topic, or just all the reasons that you can think of, I've thought of. And I don't know. Is that something about myself that I really want to work to change? Hold on. My husband's calling. Okay, I'm back, and I don't remember where I left off because I actually talked to my husband, then I had to go pick up the little one from UIL practice. But anyway, so I think I was talking about wanting to pursue a PhD, but just being afraid to do so. I think the biggest fear is just, I don't know that I'm smart enough to do it. And there are a couple of areas that I'm interested in, a couple of avenues I could go down, but it's intimidating. And I keep trying to remind myself that it's okay to just try. And if you try and it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. If you try and later have to tell people, well, I didn't finish or it didn't work out, who cares? It's your life. It's, your decision, and I can only live life for myself. It's a miserable, miserable position to be in, to live life according to what everyone else thinks. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to live up to anyone's standards or expectations of me. I just want to be myself and pursue the things that I think will make me happy and be beneficial to me and to others in the long run. And so I am really, really, really going to try to work on being less fearful and allowing fear to drive my decision making. I think part of that comes from, there are some decisions that I have made in my past that I regret. Nothing, was major for me, but nothing like, that got me in trouble or anything. Just, general life decisions that you have to make in your young adult years. And I think one of those decisions is that I stayed local to go to college. I didn't go away to college, and I really wish I would have. I think I would have a really different perspective on life. I think I would have different friendships. I may not even be living in the state that I live in. I just think there would have been probably more opportunities for me if I would have gone away to college. Part of the reason why I didn't is because I don't think that, my mom really wanted me to. I think I was a little afraid to go off, but that's a decision that I live with that I regret a lot. And, just other decisions that I've made over the course of my life that I wish were different. And really, that's just a part of life. You live and you learn from those things, and you try to teach your kids or other people that you have some influence with, you try to teach them differently and hope that they learn from what you may consider your mistakes, and move on. And that's something that sometimes I struggle with doing, is just accepting things for what they are and just moving on without a bunch of regrets. You just move on. You try to make the best choices for yourself that you can, and and pursue the things that you want to pursue. And so, will I actually decide to pursue a PhD? I don't know. I'm still struggling with it. Just to be honest, I'm still struggling with it. Now I have a family. Our lives are full, and just thinking about, between work and family, then I'm taking on a lot of additional responsibilities. But then I also think the time is going to pass whether I do it or not. So why not just do it and make it work and figure it out? I have a very supportive husband, and I know that he would support whatever I chose to do, just as I do for him. And so it's like, why not just give it a try? And if for some reason it's overwhelming and it's too much, then move on from it. But it doesn't hurt to try. And it's a lot of work and a lot of time, and even just the application process is a lot of work and a lot of time. And I've started applications. I've started working on statements of purpose or personal statements. And then I quit, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time. And I start feeling like I'm not good enough to do this. And so that is something that I am really working to get better about. Not living in fear, and just being confident in myself, in my abilities, in my intellect, in my skin, just being confident in who God created me to be. And He places desires in our heart and purposes in our heart that are there for a reason, and they're not always the easy thing. And my husband and I have conversations about purpose a lot, and just kind of what that means. And sometimes it's not this grand, something that's on like a grand scale. I mean, your purpose may be to be the best daughter, or the best parent, or the best, coworker, or whatever, just to be that person that gives light to other people and hope to other people, and you're a bright spot in someone's day. I think sometimes when we think about purpose, it's this really big, grand stage, or this really huge just impact on the entire world. And sometimes it's not that. It's just impacting the world that's around you and the community that you're in. And so I hope to really listen to my heart and see where it leads me, and to not be, what's the word I want to use? Not to be paralyzed or confined by fear. And so if you too have something in your heart, or a goal, or just this desire that has been burning within you for a long time, but you're afraid to do it, just try. Just try and see if it works out, because it might just work out. It may not, and that's okay. Life isn't going to end, but it might just work out. So I say to you, and I say to myself, just try.